Now, we got to pivot away from that because we have a CMA Entertainer of the Year joining us. Woo. We have a CMA Single of the Year reigning, defending, current champion. Mm-hmm. We have a man who went up on stage alongside Tracy Chapman and stole the entire Grammys. Yeah. How you doing? Giving out awards to people? Sweet. We're going to have a performance that's going to be so amazing, everybody on earth is going to talk about it. Die hard App State Mountaineer fan. Die hard Carolina Panther fan. And a man, if he comes to your town with a tour kicking off in about a month or so, you should go see because he's a showman.
Yeah.
He is a showman. Yeah. Taking his trash to the dump earlier. Now talking about a dump of a franchise, Carolina Panthers. Ladies and gentlemen, Luke Combs. Yeah. Good to see you. Hey,
how are you?
I'm great, man. I apologize for saying there at the end, the dump of a franchise, Carolina Panthers, because that is a team that you are a fan of. And your tweet the other day seemed like there was a little bit of passion behind this. You know, a man who's in the middle of a country music career that people dream of, selling out stadiums. We're not talking about theaters. We're not talking about arenas. No. We're talking about stadiums. So it can take the high road. Just kind of, hey, good to see you guys. See you out. Could do that. Instead, looks at his football team that he's been a fan of since he was a kid growing up in North Carolina and goes, what are we doing?
Going on.
Is there a plan in place at all for any of this? New GM, new head coach. How do you feel about the state of the Panthers? And I think you're speaking for a lot of Panthers fans whenever you're tweeting something like that out, Luke.
Yeah, it's tough, man. It really is, honestly. You know, I saw that picture on the screen and God, those were good days, man. The dab those were good times. You know what I mean? Kuechly, those were good times. You know, feels like a century ago, man. It's tough right now.
What do you think? What do you think, though? How long is this going to happen? We got Canales in there. He did go with Tampa down Baker. Morgan, he didn't blink his whole press conference. The guy didn't blink one time. Sicko. Super football guy. This is good news, right, Luke? Here we go. We're back to being optimistic.
I don't know, man. It's like I'm. You know, I obviously don't know Dave at all. You know, I'm sure he's an awesome guy, but I don't get the hype behind hiring the offensive coordinator for the 20th best offense in the league.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I mean, that's just, to be completely honest, you know what I mean? Like, what are we talking about here? There's 20 other guys that are doing it better. I just don't know. You know what I mean? I don't know what the answer is. If there's some big plan, I certainly don't understand it. I'll tell you that much.
Okay, Luke. Well, I'm hoping that Morgan and Mr. 20 out of 32,
that's right,
you know, will be able to earn your appreciation on Panthers fans because I think it's all you're kind of hoping for. Go ahead, AJ.
Have you been able to meet the owner, David Tepper, and have any interactions with him? And do you have faith that this guy's going to kind of get you guys going in the right direction?
I haven't. I've met him very, very briefly. Actually did my fantasy football draft a few years ago in the Panther Stadium. That's interesting. As that is, me and my best buddies did a combine of our own to determine draft order. If you can imagine
how'd you do?
That was. Oh, terrible! Second to last pick, dude. I'm not a speed guy, you know. As you can probably tell.
I mean, bench reps.
Yeah, did you bench?
Yeah. No bench. There was no bench. It was like flip cup, you know, those kind of. It's more of that stuff. Wasn't any feats of strength. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we understand. How are you a flip cupper? You play guitar well, so I assume you got the.
I went second, so it was interesting. So my buddy Reed went first, and he's a decently athletic cat, and he came in last. So it's kind of like. The person that went first did the worst, and then I did the next worst, and then I don't know if it went all the way up the chain like that, but it seemed like everybody else kind of figured the program out after they watched us fail at it a bunch of times.
Well, I like that. You offered to go second, seemingly, is what I'm hearing. I
think it was random. I would have definitely went last if I could have.
Yeah, smart. Okay, Luke, I appreciate that move. That's the right move in this whole thing. I assume there is where you met Tepper briefly, because what we know of Tepper is at his previous job, he had a guy who was a manager or something of him, and he wanted a raise. And that guy said, "You don't deserve a raise, David Tepper." And David, this might not be the real story, but who knows? David Tepper said, "Oh yeah," and starts his own company. And then company gets bigger, buys this guy's house, tears this guy's house down completely, just tears it down completely, builds a bigger house in place of that guy's house, and I don't even think he lives in it. Then goes to the Carolina Panthers. He owns the soccer team as well. He has fired like 10 coaches in 2.5 years. Whenever you when you combine it, I don't know if that's the accurate number, but you get it for the story of this thing. He seems to be a guy that wants to win, right? Doesn't it feel like that is what it is with his moves? But do you think he is a guy that can? And when do you think you'll talk to him and be like, Tep, let's go. We gotta get into a better spot here. Whenever we're talking about the way we're running the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, his ability to get it done. I mean, it hadn't happened yet for sure. So and I mean, he's obviously a shrewd businessman, but I'm a great musician, and I'm not a football coach. You know what I mean? I mean, that's just the way it is. I'm great at doing music, but I ain't at the combine telling you who to draft. You know what I mean? It ain't happening.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can be good at one thing, don't mean you're good at something else. I mean, that's the way and I think as a fan, I think we all, I mean, throwing drinks on the fans in Jacksonville ain't a hot look, dude. You know what I mean? It ain't a good look. You know what I mean? And it's like he's probably trying to buy my house, right? He's probably going to try and buy my house right now. He could if he wanted. I would be glad to sell it to him. But, I just think it's kind of like it feels like we're the worst franchise in all of professional sports right now. And it's really hard.
Pistons.
It's really hard to deal with that. You know what I mean?
It's gonna get better, Luke.
Yep. Keep pounding.
Hey.
It can't get any worse, dude. Can't get any worse.
Just wait.
Well, this has been happening to you for your whole life.
Somebody said
It could.
It could get worse. Could get worse. There was only like 100 people at the last home game last year. It was like a completely empty stadium. And we've heard your words before. Diamond rings and football teams torn this boy apart. You talk about the Panthers there, huh? That's what you're talking about.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Are we in the middle?
Man, I grew up in Charlotte.
Go ahead.
I grew up in Charlotte. I love, I was meeting Sam Mills at Burger King when I was 5 years old, first season that we were, a team. So, I mean, it's literally to say born into being a fan of this team is pretty close. You know what I mean? It may be almost more than that, right? Because they became a team. That's some of my first memories, right? Are going to Panthers games, watching Panthers games with my dad. I mean, I cried when Brady beat us in the Super Bowl. I was probably 10 years old, 11 years old or something. Just brutalized us, stay up past my bedtime. Casey kicks it out of bounds.
Oh, whoa.
We bozoed that. That was brutal.
No reason Brady's kicker. No reason for that. I mean, I understand it's part of the story, but like kickers get it. Yeah, I get it. Yeah. Well, I appreciate that you're a football guy and that you have the ability to create the music that you do. Are we in the middle of are we writing anything right now? What are we doing right now? Where are we at in life? Because obviously life's at a different point. We got family now. We're taking the dump, our trash out to the dump. Our football team sucks. Football team
awful.
Sucks. App State.
Oh, there you
12-team playoff. We got a shot, right? That's what we're looking for.
I don't know about right now.
What?
But man, I love App. It's cool there. We talked a little bit earlier, and I was like, I don't think App's going to be contending for the national championship anytime soon. But maybe one day they'll get in the 12-team playoff and get beat by 60, and you laughed because you thought 60 wasn't enough points for them.
That's true. Well,
to be fair.
I mean, that is a fair observation for things that have happened in these big games. Look what Georgia did at TCU.
We were there.
George, we were there in person, raining in LA, raining on us while the blowout's happening. Georgia has their sixth stringers in on offense and defense, walking right down the field and getting 3 and outs the other way, let alone what Georgia just did to Florida State in the last bowl game. Now, Florida State had a lot of studs that didn't play. I get that and understand that. But they won by 60-point spread is very, that's a normal thing. But it's a lot. Could you imagine App State gets in there and loses by 90?
I could actually. I could imagine that.
Or App State blocks a field goal.
There you go.
I was just about to praise Airbrush T-shirt over there for his speech he gave at JMU.
Oh, thank you very much.
Now, that was, man, what a moment. That was a moment.
Hey, why did you do that? Because you love App State? Because you love Luke Combs?
Yeah, definitely because I love App State. More so because I just wanted everyone to yell "you" at me because the vibes were too good.
Yeah.
You know, I need to let them know it's not going to be like this.
All right. Well, App State makes the 12-team playoff in the next 10 years. Carolina Panthers, Morgan and Canales. He goes from 20 to 1.
Yeah.
With Bryce Young.
Boom.
Things are looking up. Let's write a couple songs
I'm
about.
a big Dan Morgan guy, by the way. He's a top 10 Panther for me all time. Top 10 all time Panther.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Yeah, big Dan Morgan guy.
Okay, this is good. Things are looking up. Ty has a question for you, Luke.
Yeah, Luke, Pat
Yep.
just mentioned it. What about Bryce Young? If you had to guess like what the kind of fan base thinks of him, where would you put him at right now? And also, how tough is it kind of just comparing him to CJ Stroud, considering what he just did, knowing you guys could have taken CJ Stroud? Like, are people still all in on Bryce Young and the fact that, you know, people were calling him like the Steph Curry of the NFL, or is that kind of washed away with how abysmal the Panthers were last year?
I mean, I don't think that we know, right? I mean, obviously the comparison game, make you want to jump off of a bridge right at the moment. I mean, comparison game's brutal. You can't even get into that because, I mean, we just had the best rookie season of all time.
In the history of the
right.
NFL. History of the NFL.
So that hurts for sure. Oops on that. Big oops there. Missed opportunity. But I don't think that you can really discern anything about Bryce at this point. I mean, he was behind a really brutal offensive line. I mean, the guy couldn't even – he'd have a half a second to throw the ball the entire season. I mean, he had, 2 coaches in his first year. So that's great. Talk about set up for success there. So I think the guy deserves – I think that, I've always loved the Green Bay system, right? I've loved the –
Hell yeah,
I loved the Rodgers comes in behind Favre. I love the Love comes in behind Rodgers. Why is nobody else doing that? Obviously, it
because
works,
we all
right?
attack them. We all attack them immediately.
Right.
Fans attack. We attack them. Fans attack them.
Yep.
And then here they are sitting 4 years later, and Jordan Love was like a much different quarterback than he was when he came into the NFL. Yeah.
But I wouldn't attack anyone if we had a plan that made sense, right? Like you can't bring this guy into at the time. I mean, obviously one of the worst, the 4th worst team in the NFL at that point, because we had the 4th pick and we came up to get number 1, right? Threw all of our picks away to do that. And so I think you need to draft a guy that can sit for a few years. I mean, that's what used to happen. Like expecting somebody to come in and be the best guy in the league in the first year is it's never going to happen.
Yeah. I think the Panthers were like 7 or 8, but nonetheless, story remains. Yeah. This past season, you guys earned number 1 overall.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely earned it. There's no patience, though. There's no patience in the NFL for anybody at any time. And I think social media is a reason, obviously, because you hear from the fans more likely. And I think fans are more likely to take action against teams, like not show up than maybe in the past, kind of do things. So now it's like a sense of urgency. Is it the same in the music world? Like, do you think, like, if you didn't hit early, you're done? Is that it?
No way, man. I mean, music is like it. You have it. I mean, look at Chris Stapleton. Chris Stapleton is the prime example. I mean, he had been in Nashville for years and years. He had 250 cuts as a songwriter. I mean, obviously he's one of the best singers of ever, so that helps a lot too. But him getting to have that moment with Timberlake on the CMAs, I mean, that changed our entire genre. I mean, that kicked open the door for a guy like me to be able to have success too. So it doesn't have to be, and Chris, but the difference is like Chris was so good at that time. But it does remind me of the Jordan Love thing, right? Like he comes in, he got to watch somebody that's great, be great, and learn from him every day for years and years. And, they go up to Green Bay and hide away from the media, which I really love that aspect of, I wish I was a Packers fan because it just feels like they do so many things. They do so many things right. In the sense of you go up there, you're out of the hype. There's no nightclubs going on up there. There's nothing to be distracted by. I'm sure AJ could talk a lot more.
Yeah, I was about to say, AJ, what places do you used to go? You told us about that one adult ballet.
Yeah, right.
There's a place called the Oval Office that guys would frequent after games every once in a while. We know the Oneida Casino is very famous. Talked about it all the time on here.
Yeah. But you like the way the Green Bay Packers operate. And I think Gutekunst is the new GM. Like 1 year ago, I'm doofus outside looking in, and I'm a part of the problem. We're a part of the problem with the patience thing. Like, this team stinks, because we have to say it. Like, if a team stinks, they do stink. Their fans get loud. Like a year ago, I think I speak alongside a lot of Packers fans. This is his first entire team. Like right here, this is his team pretty much. Move Aaron out, Bakhtiari out, like all the OGs are out. This is his team. So I was like, is this guy just going to be able to do what all the Packers have done from the past, like that have been in the building for the last? He did. They have it figured out. I mean, they got a whole team reloaded, back in the conversation.
Right.
And then there's like the Colts. We haven't won AFC South in like 10 years, CJ Stroud told us. Panthers, I feel like it's probably felt for you like 30 years. Some teams just got it, some teams don't. We're going to turn it around though. Luke, you and I, Colts and the Panthers, going to turn this thing around. Woo! Now, I will say, there's some chat on the internet right now happening, Luke, about you.
Uh-oh.
And Luke, when you're on top of the mountain, Luke, you know that a lot of chatter about you.
Yep.
The Atlanta Falcons posted a photo of you wearing a Falcons jersey on stage, which I think you were probably just doing to say thanks to the local community for coming out and supporting you. And
of course.
This particular picture, I think, has been weaponized against you, not only from Falcons fans, but some Panthers fans say, I'll never be caught dead in an Atlanta Falcons jersey whenever they're talking about it. I just would like to offer a platform for you to kind of give your side and your take on this thing, as the Falcons were certainly trying. Here to
big time
to not only get you into their fandom, but also say, hey, what's going on over there in Carolina? I think so. If you would like to use this time to address all of this, I would love to.
Of course.
Absolutely.
Of course. Yeah.
Floor's yours.
Yeah. There's actually, I'm sure there's a picture of me wearing a Bucs hat. I played in Tampa Bay last year as well. That particular picture, I believe, is from 2019 at a show called ATL Live that I played with Eric Church. And I actually lost a bet to my keys player at the time, who was a Falcons fan. He bet on the Panthers-Falcons game. So nobody can question my fandom. We lost the game. I wore wore the Falcons jersey out there like I was supposed to. So weaponize it all you want. I sat with Arthur Blank at the Super Bowl this year. So Panthers didn't invite me to go to the Super Bowl.
Also, all these stadiums that you're selling out now, you're in business with NFL owners. This guy's doing business with NFL owners now at this particular point. Where the Tampa Bay Buccaneers hat saying, hey, thank you to the Tampa folks. But you're saying, all you people attacking me for wearing this Falcons jersey, the problem is this, the Panthers lost to the Falcons again.
Yeah.
So all these things need to go right back to the Carolina Panthers. And I appreciate you addressing that. AJ's got a question for you, Big Dog.
Luke, going back to your to songwriting, how did you learn to become such a great songwriter? Is it hanging out with other great writers, learning from them? Like, what's the process?
Is it smoking weed? What? Drinking beers? What? Is it a long neck, ice cold beer? Is that what it is? What is it?
It's, those things can help at times. I think really, I think it's like anything, right? If you want to be great, there's a lot of people that write by themselves and nothing against that, but I try to lean on the people that are around me. I really spend a lot of time writing with people who mean a lot to me, that I have personal friendships with and have developed relationships with just outside of, it's not just a working relationship, right? We're friends, we can get together and write a song, or we can get together and go fishing or ride around or go turkey hunting or go to a football game or you watch football, whatever it may be. It doesn't have to be, I think to me that's important, right? I mean, I think if you, I think AJ, you probably speak to this, Pat, as well, but if you have relationships with your teammates outside of the field, that makes what you do on the field that much better. And I believe that music is that way too.
So whenever you're doing this writing process, and amen, by the way, with camaraderie, that's an X factor that we talk about with teams in the NFL. It's like, hey, this team likes each other. We'll get videos from practices, like warm-ups, and everybody's dancing together. And it's like, hey, this team likes each other.
Huge.
Yeah.
Huge.
Big deal in our world whenever we were looking at that.
Right.
And now, do you like each other because you're winning? Maybe. It's a lot easier to get along.
That helps.
But investing in each other and in relationships, that you can't measure that with stats and analytics. Whenever you're writing these songs, because I think it was one of Kenny Chesney's songs or albums that I listened to, I was like, this is good. And the way, the angle in which the songs are being sung was like, it feels like this person's singing a song directly to me, like in this exact moment of my life.
Right.
Then it won an award. and I saw 30 people come up onto the stage that wrote the thing, and I'm like, well, whose brain? Who am I relating to? What is it like? Is somebody writing like one word at a time? How does this, because we hear about these writing sessions in Nashville where there's like 30 people, and that show Songland. I tried to learn as much as possible about the process because I love music, love the whole behind the scenes thing. How does this writing thing happen? Like one person's a lead writer and then there's like punch up writers, or is it literally like line for line, word for word? How does that country music world work? And for you, how does it work normally?
Yeah. I mean, country music, at least in my experience, right, this is my 10th year here and probably my 12th or 13th year doing music. I guess you could say professionally. That's a weird word to use. It doesn't feel very professional, but getting paid to do music 13 or so years.
Hey, hell yeah. Hell yeah. Congratulations.
But I think, Nashville is right. There are companies that pay people to write songs, right? That's their job every day. And we call them kind of lunch pail songwriters, right? Like you wake up in the morning, kiss your wife or your husband or whoever goodbye, get your lunch pail, drive into town, write you a song, you're home by 5 o'clock in the evening. And there's people doing that 5 days a week. Not nearly as many as there used to be, because songwriters are kind of the forgotten people of our industry, which is a shame because they're really the heartbeat of our industry. And so in today's day and age, the streaming era has really limited, what a songwriter can make. Even songwriters that have the biggest careers you could imagine, are to some extent struggling these days. But that's a conversation for a longer time. But anyway,
no, that's the part of the music industry that's a problem, right? I hear a lot of music people talking about that, like the way the streaming has kind of, I don't want to say cucked, but like kind of cucked a lot of the talent because the way the deals have been kind of structured thus far and the precedent that's been set. I think there's a lot of artists and I guess songwriters. I didn't even think about this. Hey, that's all me. Mm-hmm. That's all me.
Hand up.
That's all me. Hand up. Bad guy. But the songwriters, the whole thing's kind of being affected as it's all changing. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it really is, right? I think, if you're, this is probably, people are going to probably destroy my math on this. But, back in, let's say you were writing country songs in the 90s, right? And you wrote a song that was on, one of Shania Twain's records that sold 25 million copies, right?
Shania.
25 million physical units, right? And let's say you wrote a song that didn't even make it to radio. It was just on the record, right? So that album sale would generate 10 cents per album sale for the songwriter per song. That's generating 10 cents per album sale, right? So if one person wrote a song on that album by themselves and it made 10 cents every time that record sold, you're looking at $2.5 million for writing a song that was never on the radio.
Your math is mine too, so we're both getting crushed.
Right.
Okay.
But let's say even if you wrote it with 3 other people, or if you wrote it with 3 people total, so then you're splitting that. That's a little under $1 million a piece, right? Which is a lot, $750,000, $800,000 a piece, or something somewhere around there in that ballpark. And that's for writing one song on one album that wasn't even played on the radio. Now, if you were to get it on the radio, you're talking exponentially higher than even that, right? Because that's a per play on the radio basis. Well, nowadays, right, so a physical album sale equates to 1,500 streams. So how many artist songs have you listened to 1,500 times?
I listen to Long Neck Ice Cold Beer for sure.
Yeah.
Some Jeezy songs, probably I've gotten to 1,500 times. A couple, probably
Maria. I like it loud.
Maria, I like it loud. Play it every day. 1,500 is a lot. How many years is that? If you listen to one song every 365, about 4.5 years every day.
It's a long time.
It's a lot.
So streaming is incredible. It's an incredible thing because you have every song that you ever could want at your fingertips. You know what I mean? And that's what it allows me to have a career at this point, right? Because it allows anyone to get their music heard without there being some sort of someone being a gatekeeper, right, for the industry. There's not someone going, well, you only hear the music that we let you hear or whatever. That doesn't exist anymore. With the power of social media, the ability to distribute your own music, I mean, it's changed the music industry for the better a lot. But like anything, there's so many different things. And as technology changes so rapidly, our ability to keep up with it, whether that be royalty rates or laws, is just not quite there yet. And that's something that Nashville has really led the way in, fighting for the songwriters, which are the heart of, all of your favorite music. When you saw that Kenny Chesney song or album win that award, all of those people do write songs every day. And that may be the biggest moment of their career, and it may have only made them $600,
Damn, I tried my best. I listened to a couple of those 1,500 times, 1,400 times. I tried my best, a couple of those songs. How do we help then? Live events, right? Shows. Go to shows. That's how we help the artists and everything like that in the world. That's how we support the Luke Combses and the songwriters, is going to live shows?
Yeah, I don't know about the songwriters. I mean, that helps me a whole bunch for sure. The songwriters is more difficult. You know what I mean? Helping the songwriters is more difficult, and it's a long process. It takes litigation and a lot of people who are a whole lot smarter than me. But I'm definitely here to be an advocate for them for sure, because none of us would be able to do what we do. I certainly wouldn't without the help of those guys. And they're really the backbone of our industry, right? They're the blue collar worker of the music business.
Hey, let's get these songwriters taken care of.
Get them paid. Yeah.
Hey, smart people. Figure it out. We say that a lot. We say that on this show a lot. We say, hey, smart people, figure it out, because we don't have the answers. Now, people are saying we're adding to the problem whenever we don't, when we put. I don't think that's the case. I think we're calling to action. Hey, smart people, figure it out. Add the songwriters to the list. Last question here comes from Darius J. Butler about your Carolina Panthers. Go ahead.
Yeah, I know it's kind of doom and gloom right now. I want to take you back to some happier times. You mentioned Sam Mills, rest in peace. Keep pounding, but got to get you while you're on here. What are your top 5 Panthers of all time? Obviously, a lot of great Panthers. You got Cam, you got Steve Smith, Olsen, Ryan Khalil, so many great TD, so many great names. Who's on that top 5 list for you?
Frank Reich.
Frank Reich. Rodney Peete.
Sam Mills has got to be in there for sure. Pep is in there, no doubt. Steve Smith is in there for sure.
Dog.
Musa Muhammad, Ricky Prohl, Kuechly,
this is your math.
McCaffrey.
This is the math. This is the math. You're, Brian Burns.
DJ Moore.
No Cam.
Yeah.
Kevin Green. Wesley Walls. There's a lot, man.
Steve
every
Berline.
era of I could have a top 5 from every era.
Cam is obviously absolutely.
Cam is the guy, dude. He's the guy. The excitement he brought to that city, that team. To me as a fan, I imagine there was, however many Panthers fans there are, every single one of them was exhilarated, and it all was brought on by what Cam brought onto the field. The whole attitude of that whole team. The year that we only lost one game and then ended up losing the Super Bowl. It was like, I can't express to you what that was like. And I want to straighten it out here before I leave, that I will go down with the ship of the Panthers, dude. I'm in.
Hell yeah.
All this frustration, all the quips that I've said here and there is all said out of absolute diehard passion and love. Like, I will never be a fan of another team. I will never go anywhere else. If we're the worst team in the entire planet forever, then so be it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm in, because I'm just that loyal of a cat when it comes to that. So,
Hell yeah. We need more Luke Combses out there.
Amen.
In the NFL fandom. We appreciate the hell out of you, brother, for taking time. Good luck on tour. You're not coming to Indianapolis.
What?
Well.
Well.
I did last year. You guys didn't come. Nobody came last year when I was there.
I was there. I was there, Luke.
Nick was I was at WrestleMania.
Hell yeah.
You scheduled it on WrestleMania weekend. That's on you.
39 too, biggest one.
That's on you. But I want to let you know, anybody has said that was at the Indianapolis show or of any of your shows, showman.
Yeah.
Hey, you're a showman out there, Luke. You're a showman. It's a good show.
Appreciate it.
People enjoy the hell out of it. Because
I try my best.
stadiums aren't easy, especially with music and how small you are. You got to think like at stadiums, you got 11 on. Like football is 22 dudes are on the field doing stuff. Because you got people up there. You're a full, and I'm not saying you're the only human that has done this. Obviously, Taylor Swift, phenomenal show whenever they're at the stadium, and it's like what you do. From what I've heard from people that have gone and from the videos I watch, you're electric out there, Luke. We appreciate the hell out of that. We love that.
Well, I try my best out there.
Those aren't real shotguns, though. That's fake beers. Those are gimmick beers.
No, those are real. Those are real beers.
Luke,
Not ice cold.
They're real beers. They're
Look,
real beers.
that's
I
gonna
know
be.
you don't think so.
That's too
They're real
fast.
beers.
That's way too fast. What you do to that shotgun?
They're real, dude.
Have you always been that talented in the shotgun department?
Yeah, I wasn't really talented in anything else in college, so drinking was high on the list. Drinking's up there. I played rugby in college, so there's a lot of a lot of drinking going on.
The rugby house is one you never want to end up at.
Nope.
It's alongside the hockey house, one you never want to end up at.
Wrestling
House is another one. Yeah, problematic. These are houses you end up at. They acknowledge that you play a different sport and go, welcome to the Thunderdome. Get over here. And it is a full night always. Great times, though. You're also a great punter. I've seen you punt some Red Solo Cups. Like, we're talking second level. You really get through that. You're a good cup kicker.
Yeah, I could hit the scoreboard at AT&T probably with a solo. I could, I think.
I wouldn't put it past you because you got those big shit kickers on too. Whenever you're going full. I mean, I saw a follow through all the way up to your chest.
Full extension. Yeah.
Yeah. What's that all about? You soccer player?
Yeah. No, I mean it really came from rugby, to be honest. Rugby. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
A lot of kicking going on.
Answer.
I mean, they never listen. It's like the NFL. They don't let the big guys do anything other than take up space. But at practice, get a lot of kicking in practice.
You can really turn that thing over, huh?
Yeah, I got the whole pendulum thing going. There's a lot of momentum coming. You know what I mean? That's 300 pounds of fun coming.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, go see him when he's on the road. And also, let's pull for our Panthers fans' friends.
Yes.
That are out there. Ladies and gentlemen, Luke Combs. Thank you, Luke.
Thanks, John.